All right, looks like we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you clicked that link on Twitter, and you're checking us out on the feed. You're tuned into hashtag A3K Live. Yes, that is a thing now, ladies and gentlemen. And we're gonna go live in 5, 4, 3. Hello, everyone. Right now, you're tuned into hashtag A3K Live. Yes, that is a thing that I just created and we are doing. And joining us today, we have Jahmere. My voice gives me super strength to Durham,
Yeah, yeah.
who is one half of the Two Guys in a Mic, are also known as Two Gam Podcast, as well as the Mix Master General. Yes, that is something else that I came up with of A3K Radio. How are you doing, Jahmere?
I'm great. How you guys doing out there in YouTube land or wherever we're streaming at?
That's the voice of the YouTube land. And also joining us, we have a blast from the past. We have the curator, the head cheese in charge over at Alpha Counter, and a former contributor for Anime 3000, Sean Ryan.
I feel like the creamy filling of this A3K Oreo cookie.
And that is not the first time I've heard that. You have a very good chance of being the cream filling when you are on the A3K podcast. If you know
You don't
what
want
I'm
to be
saying.
that guy.
We're flipping the script here, folks. On this episode, we're doing things a little bit differently. If you've listened to the last couple of episodes, at least since I've come back, I told you that I've committed to 6 episodes, and we're going to try some new things to try to spruce things up, to put a new fresh coat of paint on this show that we call hashtag A3K Live, or if you're listening to us on the audio version, it's the A3K podcast. So on this episode, we're going to talk strictly about the new season of anime, and hopefully you're still listening. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, there are some good shows in this batch of crap that we're going to be talking about. And we're also going to be talking about some of the batch of crap, which oftentimes is the more entertaining of the two. So that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. Then we're also going to be sharing some picks in our What You've Been Doing segment. We're going to be doing some recommendations, and that way you can walk away with a prize. You can walk away with something of knowing, hey, let me check out that book that Sean's talking about, or this so-and-so that someone's mentioning. And then Bob's your uncle. So let's go straight into it. The new season of anime, we are using the live chart for the season. Yeah, live chart. There you go. I used to use what was it called? Chartfag?
It seems inappropriate somehow.
Do you remember that? That was a thing.
Good Lord.
It was the
No,
name.
I don't doubt you. I don't believe.
I feel like this is the Inquisition here. No, I promise you, Chartfag was a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Before live charts became
Oh,
what
man.
it is. Anyways,
I can only suspect why they got taken out.
I wonder why.
Guys, we got to rebrand like today.
So we're looking at the new season, and we're breaking it down from most promising but probably won't watch, most cringe-inducing shows, sequels, and bowls of who cares. And these are pretty much, we're going to save that for last because we're just going to name them because they're not worth us even spending more time on explaining those shows or going over the premises. And I'm going to ask 2 huge favors for you guys. Since you two have some of the best radio voices I've heard in all of anime podcasting, I would love for you to read the descriptions for some of these shows. Would you mind doing that for us?
I'll do it.
I will try.
All right. And we'll just
I have the site pulled up, so I think I can do this.
Alrighty. So on my list, let's go ahead and start with most promising. Now, your picks might be different. So the first pick that I'm gonna go through all of my picks, and if there's something that I left off this list, you guys feel free to bring it up. So the first show that I want you guys, and we'll start with Sean Ryan, is The File of Young Kindachi Returns. And
Young Kinachi returns.
Kendaichi returns.
Kendaichi. Oh Lord, now I have to look this. This is out of. Wait, this is most promising.
Most promising in the sense that I've heard of this title before, and I'm kind of curious to see what it's about. I mean, even before this season was mentioned, it was on my radar of things that might have legs. So who knows? And I felt like I had to put more than 3 things on this list, or it's going to be very bleak for anime for the next couple of months.
Kendaichi is very underrated from what I've heard from
exactly.
my friends who actually watch and follow the manga and the actual animated series for this show for the past couple of years. Nobody cares about Kendaichi, and they prefer to have it that way because it's like it doesn't blow up into one of those fandoms like Attack on Titan did the first couple of years, where it just came out and everyone's like, "Oh my god, Attack on Titan!" It's like you tell somebody you watch Kendaichi, they're like, "Oh, you have my interest."
And before you read it, I just want to give a huge shout out to the chat. Everybody that's in the chat right now, thank you guys for coming out. A Curious Sky, Nerdigans, as always, you guys are always appreciated. So now back to you, Sean.
All right, here we go. Here's the pitch. This year's 33rd issue of Kodansha's weekly shonen magazine announced that Saimaru Amegi and Fumiya Sato's Kendaichi Shonen no Jikenbo, the file of young Kendaichi returns. Manga will get a second anime adaptation that will premiere in Japan in October. The magazine will reveal more information about the anime adaptation in future issues.
So, I mean, it sounds like it's coming from a property that it was, I guess, good enough to get a second anime adaptation, so there has to be something there.
I feel a little hungry for more because it talks about the team and the source material. I have no idea what this show's about.
I feel... Go ahead, Jahmere.
Kendaichi, from what I remember, because they talked my head off about this, I should remember this, but from what I remember, Kendaichi is like the spiritual friend of Detective Conan, in which case Kendaichi is a detective. He's like a boy detective, but he's not trying to find like the people who poisoned him and made him small. He just solves crimes, and when the time calls for it, he's not afraid to put his fist in somebody's face to get down to business.
So is he actually a kid?
No, he's a high school student, I think, and he solves mysteries with the help of his friend, who he may or may not have feelings for. Like, this is like a very long-winded anime. It's not like brand new. It didn't just appear in like 2010 or whatever. It's been around since like 1992.
Sounds like Sherlock Jr.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
Like, and they're all whodunits, like gruesome murders. Some of them have supernatural stuff in them.
I should probably give a little full disclosure just so folks in the chat and the comments don't go, Sean Ryan doesn't know anything. Yes, I don't really know much about this because I am in my late 30s as one of the old farts in the anime fandom. So I spend most of my time, as you can imagine, rewatching old stuff from my past. And the newer stuff, I'm like, huh? All right, you're going to have to send me a sales pitch. Throw it at me.
Like the enemies of the pirates.
And that's interesting that you said rewatching old stuff, because that's, as a bit of an aside, that's something that I've done for the first time in probably decades. Watching something that I've already watched. The only thing I've ever done that for is Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. I watched Back to the Future, and it's kind of like a new world opened up for me. Like, holy crap, I could watch something that I've watched before and enjoy myself.
You're in a different stage in your life. You're watching with different eyes, or if nothing else, you're in a different mood. Let's say if you're just rewatching something you saw 2 years ago.
You know, we it's funny when like you have some time to kill on the ship, and a lot of people that I work with and sleep in the same area with, they watch anime. So with one of the guys, he has this hard drive full of anime, and the last thing I saw him watching was Nautica 617, and I was just like, out of all the stuff that you have on your flash drive, you decide to pull out an episode of Nautica 617. He's like, it's old. I feel like watching old stuff.
Is that the one about the girl who gets amnesia?
Yeah,
thinks she's a 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Myth of the Madness on that, I think, last year. I loved that show to death. One of the few shows I watched the entire way through because, like, oh my god, this is messed up. This is funnier than I know what's intended to be.
Oh, so great. He's just old, man.
And speaking of so great and not so old, we have our next show. And take this with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. I tried to be nice to this season, and I picked another show that might be underneath people's radar, Cowabon. And this one is going to be you, Jahmere, as you try to find it.
Cowabon?
Cowabon. Not to be confused with Cowabunga. Yes, I did it. I said it.
Cowabon?
I do not see that listed.
Is it K? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, it's with a K.
K?
It's like the horror one.
Is it Kawa?
Kow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see it. Okay, so... oh, good lord. All right, so is this the one that has promise?
Hey, I gave you a disclaimer beforehand.
All right. Okay, so Cowabon will be produced through rotoscoping live-action footage and will feature bondage x stylish horror as a theme. The official website contains the following tagline: "There are cameras everywhere in the world. Those eyes have seen the world you do not know." I don't think I want to see the world of bondage. I think that's his word.
I might take a peek. I mean, just to satisfy curiosity. It's like, what is it?
I'm beginning to wonder why I put this on the list now. I'm having second thought. You know what it is? Rotoscoping. That's what.
Oh.
I want to be in the loop once this show gets torn to shreds. So I
was going to say, because the last couple of shows that used rotoscoping, people just tore down whether or not it was critically acclaimed or not.
Yeah. So the last one to my memory was what was it? The Flowers of Evil.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, that one. That one was
I've heard different things from different people. I have no idea what to think of that show. I haven't even seen it yet.
I think that show was very polarizing. I think you either really loved it or you really hated it. Like for me, I just felt it was so. And I guess sometimes people do shows to create a slow pace for a show for the aesthetic of it, but this show was just extremely boring for me.
I think Anime News Network proclaimed it as the next messiah of anime. Yeah. I was just like, I've seen an episode because I wanted to know what the hell everybody was talking about. Like, when somebody tells you that a show was so bad, and then like people do podcasts on how bad the show is, and then like one news outlet is like, no, it was the greatest thing since the Second Coming, and then you watch an episode, and you're like, how did you see that through this? But then that's what makes anime great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something for everybody, but usually most of the time it's not for you.
Yeah.
As you get older.
It wasn't. I just thought it was boring.
Yeah, and I get the story, like if you dig deeper into the story, but I mean to literally sit and watch a pot boil, that's another level of, oh my God.
Yeah, it's called American television. I get enough of that on American too. I knew that anime.
Alrighty, well, let's move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And promising, and if these shows, I think we're getting a little bit closer to the mark. That's definitely with the last one that's going to be on the promising list. I don't care who you are. If you don't like the show, you have bad taste and stuff.
Ooh.
Not this next one. Because this next one is Lupin the Third, something in Italiana.
L'Avventura Italiana.
The Adventure in Italy.
Check you two out. All fancy with y'all know and stuff.
Don't worry, Sean. I got this.
So this one is going to be you, Sean Ryan.
Lupin will be starring as the main character in this upcoming series set to take place in Italy and San Marino. Reflecting its setting, the anime will debut in Italy before airing in Japan. Lupin the Third fans will note the titular thief now has a blue coat, following his earlier appearances in green, first series and some OVAs, red, the second series as well as most films, television specials, or pink, third series.
So we have a new Lupin show that is, the interesting thing I found about this is, and from you just reading it, is that it's going to be appearing in Italy before Japan, which is an interesting thing to consider, because we think that the world of anime centers around Japan and the United States. Finally, some other place is is dictating when things are airing and which order, which I think is pretty cool, and rightfully so, since the show is taking place in Italy. But are any of you guys a fan of Lupin the Third?
I've been okay. So the only Lupin the Third thing that I've ever seen, like all the way through, is Lupin the Third, Twilight, or Lord, or Twilight Gemini, whatever. That old ass movie back from when Genion was still around. Lord rest in peace. I have been trying to get into Lupin, but it's not that it's too long, and it's not that it's it's something that I don't like. I just don't. It doesn't strike me as you know what, I should watch Lupin right now. I don't have that feeling about Lupin the Third.
I kind of dig Lupin the Third. I tend to lean more towards the TV series than the OVAs and the movies. But I don't know. Maybe I it's one of these cases where I like the concept and the characters more than whatever the actual product is.
Yeah.
So I want to have hope in this new series, but I don't know. It's always kind of hit or miss.
I mean, for people who've seen Lupin, if they don't like Lupin, they should watch Fujiko
They should
Mine.
watch Lupin.
Yeah, the spin-off that Fujiko had. That was a really good show that nobody talks about.
And I liked what they did with that one Lupin movie that came out, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where I think they were showing their origin stories.
Mm-hmm.
That was really well done as well. I remember after I watched it, I was like, this was really good.
And
I enjoyed myself.
If you don't like just watching Lupin as a whole, he did make a movie with Detective Conan. So, I mean, if you like Cage Closed and you can stomach Lupin, then you can watch that film.
And I got into Lupin from watching it on Adult Swim.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I mean,
Fun.
I watched it and I was definitely had a feeling of, wow, I'm enjoying something from the 70s. It definitely had that feel to it, like you knew when this show was made, but it was the characters were pretty interesting, the stories were interesting, and it was a fun ride, and I can see how people could be fans of Lupin.
Right.
But I could definitely see how people are going to be fans of this next show. And I've been talking about this show even before they announced the anime because the manga is so damn good. And that show, of course, is One Punch Man. And,
One Punch Man!
And who's it? Jahmere?
Yeah, it's me.
Jahmere, you have the honors of talking about this show.
In this new action comedy, everything about a young man named Saitama screams average. From his lifeless expression to his bald head to his unimpressive physique. However, this average-looking fellow doesn't have your average problem. He's actually a superhero that's looking for tough opponents. The problem is, every time he finds a promising candidate, he beats the snot out of them with, you guessed it, one punch. Can Saitama finally find an evil villain strong enough to challenge him? Follow Saitama through his hilarious romps as he searches for new bad guys to challenge.
I feel that reading it needed the support of slide whistles and hi-hats.
But I mean, have you guys read the manga? Any of you read the manga?
Yes.
I have seen the manga. I have not read it, although I've seen so many panels copied and pasted into my Twitter feeds that I feel I've seen the entire thing.
This is going to be one of the rare instances where the manga is going to be better than the animation, because there's no, and from what I've seen from the trailers, they've kind of missed the mark on what they could have. It probably would have been way too expensive for them to match the manga style, but the manga is that good as far as how detailed, especially some of the big landscape scenes are. Mm-hmm. Especially if you get a little bit further in, there's the spaceship arc. Amazing character designs, very interesting character designs. The characters themselves, this world is vast. Think of Naruto if every character was badass.
Yeah.
It's impossible. But yes, go on.
But I'm trying to do justice to this show, and it's funny. It's extremely funny, and there's a lot of misconceptions with characters and misunderstandings between villains and good guys that is played up for laughs, and the fact that it goes off the whole idea that the leading protagonists for these shonen series are super overpowered, and that's the running joke, and it never stops being funny because they always find a new way to make you sort of think that something's gonna happen, but at the end of the day, it boils down to One Punch Man. And I just can't wait for this show to come on so everybody can start talking about it.
One Punch Man.
Get everyone exposed to it.
Oh, man. I think One Punch, I've been saying for years, what's going to save anime in a substantial way? One Punch Man is the savior of anime.
As he falls down from heaven cloaked in white.
He's the hero we deserve.
And a curious Scott, I do apologize. He says Naruto comparisons do not help it sell. And I will take back the Naruto comparison.
Tell that to Masashi Kishimoto.
Yeah.
Making it rain in Japanese strip clubs night after night. All that Yeti's got.
But, of course, with the good... Oh, and that's coming out October 5th, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure someone's going to pick it up. I hope they don't do a Dragon Ball Super and just let this show slide past. But I'm pretty sure Crunchyroll probably. I wonder who's gonna pick this one up.
It's Madhouse Animation and Viz Media. Crunchyroll probably slide in there and walk out with it real quick.
Yeah, let me just take that.
Yeah.
Funimation, you can don't worry about this. Nah, I got this one right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about the most promising. Now, here are some shows that I feel are promising, but I personally speaking, I probably won't be watching it. And I'm just going to give them some honorable mentions. And the first one is Kagawani. I feel like there should be something else after that.
Kagewani?
You know that show, right? Kagawani?
Yeah, all meant with monsters.
Oh, you actually know? I was just joking.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that one.
I suppose it's my turn.
Yes, it's Sean's turn.
Don't.
Mysterious monsters that appear and attack in present time. The people can only be played by with by them in this extreme situation. Why do these monsters appear to attack people? Sousuke Banba, the scientist, searches for the truth with the keyword Kagewani. A new feeling of panic suspense animation begins.
Dun dun.
Hey, I mean, it sounds like a movie that somebody might want to watch. Huh?
I'm a little put off by the image that they put up for the preview, because it doesn't look like does the animation look like that also? Because this looks like a knockoff novel cover.
It reminds me of Poopa a little bit.
Hey, I heard that one a long time.
Yeah, so from your guys' enthusiasm over this show, I'm gonna say that we just keep it moving.
Kagewani lost the race to look like shit. What's that show called? Parasite.
Oh, that's another one I was thinking of. If it's anything like the first 3/4 of Parasite, I would be like, yeah, let me tune.
Yeah, I heard it kind of fell apart in the end game there.
Yeah, sure it did. I try to forget the fact that it did and keep my enthusiasm up when I talk about Parasite.
If you want to finish it, the manga actually did it justice. I read the entire manga in like a week before I even knew the anime was being made. When it was being made, I was like, oh, that's great. It deserves it. And then it ended, and I was like, oh.
Oh, this crap. Yeah. No, but I would still recommend Parasite. There's enough good in it that it's worth watching. So let's start our next show. It's from a familiar property, especially for you Tezuka fans out there.
Blackjack?
Yeah, that's your turn.
Okay. We are talking about Blackjack.
Yeah, young.
Okay. The young Blackjack.
Young Blackjack. Oh, okay. So, based on the brilliant Maverick Doctor created by the manga pioneer Osamu Tezuka, this prequel follows Blackjack when he was still a medical student in the 1960s. How much yen will they continue to try and pump out from this franchise? Find out when it premieres October 2nd, 2015,
I am so hoping this is just the Tezuka version of Scrubs.
Well, then it would have to be funny. Oh, no, it wouldn't. It's Tezuka.
Yeah. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes not.
Have to be deadly serious. Oh, man.
And have any of you read any of Blackjack? I know.
Hell no.
I did ages ago when I was in college. Borrowed a couple of buddies' volumes of it. It was all right. It was one of the better Tezuka stuff that I've read.
He's a doctor that doesn't take no for an answer. If you're going to get operated on, he's going to do it. He's Blackjack.
Oh, man. Well, let's keep it moving. Next we have, and this one is going to be Sean from a property that a lot of people love, which a lot of people are calling probably the biggest anime to come out, the last biggest anime to come out.
Oh, Lord. No pressure, huh? Okay, so I'm going to use the English title for this. It's Titan Junior High.
Oh, God.
Oh, hell no.
The spin-off of Attack on Titan. All right, let me wind up for this. Eren and Mikasa enter a new school, Titan Junior High. However, Eren's hated Titans for years. Can he get along with his new harmless classmates? Featuring all the characters from the main series as you've never seen them before. This series is sure to delight fans of Attack on Titan with a human versus Titan volleyball match,
God.
Titan rock band, and much more.
This made me so mad.
Now, I cannot cast too many stones because I sit and advocate DD Hokuto no Ken, and I feel this is the Attack on Titan version of that, although I don't see it being quite as clever.
Look, when I first saw this, as somebody who watched the entire AOT but did not fanboy/fangirl over it as a series, this made me mad. I'm like, dude, it was fine. It ended, well, not ended, but it finished its first season on a good note, like a good cliffhanger. The animation was decent. Everybody wants to know what happens next. You doing this is pretty much the same as, like, you rolling out with, like, I could only assume that the Japanese sat at their round table and said, yo, look at all this money we're making from Attack on Titan.
I don't know.
We wait for the second season to come out, and somebody's like, nah, we should just give them something that they'll buy anyway. And somebody's like, well, let's just make it kid-friendly.
Well, this seems to me like it's, hey, let's figure out a way to put Attack on Titan on Nickelodeon. Because it also kind of rings to me for kids who grew up in the 80s and 90s, when they would take properties based on rated R movies like RoboCop and Rambo and turn them into Saturday morning cartoon shows for the younger kids.
The only positive thing I could say about this is, Sean's, you remember Full Metal Panic, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember how
Fumocho?
No. You remember how it was funny yet serious at the same time, and it had drama in it?
Yeah.
And then
it's been a long while since I've seen it, but yeah.
The Japanese decided that since that show was so popular, they made Full Metal Panic Fumofu, and all it was just a version of Full Metal Panic side stories that were all comedy. If they can replicate what they did with Fumofu, which was really funny in my opinion, if they can do that with this Attack on Titan version, then more power to them. But the only thing that's going to drive this and make people watch it is how funny it is, because they know it's not serious anymore. They know there's no drama. It's just there for comedy. And if it's not funny, then it's going to fail terribly.
Yeah. That's why I hope it kind of leans the same way as DD Hokuto no Ken. Rumor has it is not, but we'll give it a shot.
And speaking of giving it a shot, we have another property, very popular franchise.
This guy.
A very popular franchise, and that is Gundam. And there is a new Gundam in an old package, and that is you, Jahmere.
Boy, let me tell you about Kido Senshi Gundam Takatsu no Orphans. All right, this show is set 3 300 years after a great conflict between Earth and Mars known as the Calamity War, that's new, a woman named Cordelia sets out on a journey to Earth to speak for the independence of the Martian city of Kreese, which is under the control of the Earth government. I know where this is going. Escorting her is the private company CGS, which protagonist Mikazuki August, because he's German and Japanese, and Orga Itsuka are members of. When a group named Gjallarhorn, which is in no way affiliated with the missile launcher from Destiny, attacks CGS and Cordelia, Orga sees this as a chance to rebel against CGS and launch a coup. Mikazuki and Orga are thrust into a new conflict to fend off Gjallarhorn. Mikazuki rides an old mobile suit that probably does not have any special powers whatsoever from the Calamity War, but it is powered by a nuclear reactor and is called the Gundam Barbados. The Barbados is described as a mobile suit that steals weapons, armor, and parts from enemies to become stronger, so they're not abandoning their Gundam build fighters, they're just incorporating it into a mature storyline. All right!
They're just turning it into Mega Man.
Exactly. Let's do this. Equip your weapons.
I see promise in this show only if they pay less attention to the mecha and more attention to the interactions between this slapped together group. Like, I could see it really having a nice story if it's kind of just like, hey, there's some interesting characters.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The thing that I have a problem with already, which I'm going to watch this, because I liked me some Gundam. Favorite Stardust memory, 003. Love it to death. But Gundam, as a whole, what I just read to you, already tells you how this story is going to go. He's the protagonist, and I bet that the guy probably piloting that robot is the smaller dude.
Spoiler alert.
He's going to get in that Gundam, and he is going to have to fight other mecha in order to get stronger. You already know he's going to win because his Gundam pretty much survives off of weapons it steals from other mechs. So how is he going to lose?
So pretty much this is just the way to sell a new new Gundam figure.
Yeah, he's just gonna get stronger. That's all it is.
Hey, I mean, isn't Gundam notorious for killing off major characters?
It depends on who writes it.
Oh, yeah. When Tomino writes it, he kills people, right?
I don't know. Cody would be more suitable to answer that question. He knows which writers kill off all their people. That's why he doesn't watch most of this stuff. But I don't know who writes. I don't know who's writing. Some of the Gundams, like 00. Some people died, but I don't know how they're gonna deal with this. Each Gundam is a different writer.
Okay. Well, hopefully this writer doesn't suck.
Yeah, you can only hope.
And speaking of hoping things don't suck, we have Concrete Revolution Shojin Genso.
We sure do.
Okay.
Your mother's a what? And that would be you, Sean.
All right. Podcast listeners, I apologize. Please forgive me. Now may be the time that you get up and grab a sandwich, for this is the longest bit of copy that I've seen on this preview so far. But here goes. The stage is set in another Japan as a banquet of diverse superhumans unfolds. In an imaginary age of gods about 20 years after the war, Japan has grown and developed by leaps and bounds. What if all the superhumans ever written about in fictional stories existed at the same time? Superhumans who came into existence through different circumstances, and who are special in different ways. Titans from outer space, life forms from a mystical world, phantoms and goblins from ancient times, cyborgs created by scientists, relics that rose out of the... Are we just going to go through the whole roster? Relics that rose out of the ruin.
Cat girls.
It's the cast of Darkstalkers.
Yeah, it is, essentially.
Ruins of ancient civilizations, and the list goes on. One segment of these superhumans makes no secret of their existence and has gained popularity in society. Others cloak their identities and fight in secrecy. Mm. There are enemies of superhumans as well, organizations that operate in the shadows. New paragraph. The Japanese government has taken many measures to secure peace and order. New paragraph. One is the establishment of an organization under the Ministry of Health and Welfare. the Overpopulation Research Laboratory, a.k.a. the Superhuman Bureau. Their mission is to identify and approach superhumans, then oversee and safeguard them. One member of the Superhuman Bureau, Jiro Hideyoshi, is protagonist of this series.
I love live trying out their spelling errors, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Superpowers missing prepositions.
I mean, the show doesn't sound all the way terrible, but
it's like anime Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But it just has so much going on in that summary. It's just like there has to be a way you could summarize all of that.
Superheroes exist.
Anime Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh man.
Yeah, but yeah, that one I think is worth. If it's somewhere legal, I'll check it out. But I don't think it's worth going out of my way to find it if it's not on Crunchyroll or Funimation. Yeah.
Well, the preview image certainly looks colorful. I might take a look at see how the animation is.
Lord.
All right, and the next one on our list is okay. Let's see. I can't see it now. Tante Team KZ Jankin Note.
Jankin Note?
Jikin Note?
Alright, got you. The story centers around Aya Tachibana, a sixth grader who frets and obsesses over friends, family, grades, and more. One day, she joins the Tante Team, KZ Detective Team Kaz, with 4 very idiosyncratic boys she met at cram school. Tante Team KZ gets involved in modern-day cases, and even if they bicker from time to time, they collaborate by pooling each of their talents and skills to solve these cases. So what you're telling me is that this is literally a girl who becomes friends with 4 boys and solves mysteries.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what this is telling me. And then they're not even, and you know it's going to be short because the episodes are 9 minutes apiece.
Oh, I missed that part.
It's one of those.
To me, looking at it, the art style looks innocent enough. It doesn't look like they're trying to over-sexualize anybody. I see it, the way I pictured it is more of like a Nancy Drew Hardy Boys type of deal.
If only, Sean. If only.
But now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, it could probably go the other way, which I hope it doesn't. It's a mystery. I'm trying to look for some semblance of it being an innocent show.
You better stick to Kendaichi. That's your only hope for a mystery this season.
Oh man, things aren't looking good, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa.
Things aren't looking good.
It's like a 6th grader within a reverse harem.
Oh God. I don't think it's a harem though. It's
one girl and 4 boys. Very idiosyncratic boys.
Love will bloom. It's like those episodes that couldn't stand the case closed, where they would just like shoehorn in his detective club with those kids. And like every time that popped up, I was like, hell no, skip this episode because it was always stupid. It's always stupid.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. These guys have crushed my dreams of an innocent Hardy Boys.
Shut that down.
Jahmere.
All right, moving on. We have, jeez, these shows are so hard. Taimeido Gauken 35 Shinken Shotai. There you go.
Well, damn.
Oh, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yes.
This, I can tell by the preview image. This is something that I need to pitch towards my Method to Madness co-host, Kevin Gray. This looks like one of our shows. Here we go. Is set in a world. Already off to a running start with the copy.
Oh, damn.
Way to go, Anna. I'm gonna paraphrase by saying the show is set in a world where people with magic powers are close to being wiped out, just as the balance of power and military might had once shifted from swords to sorcery. It shifts once again to guns. Takeru Kusanagi goes to Anti-Magic Academy, a training facility for inquisitors of heretics who crack down on the dwindling threat posed by magic users. However, Takeru cannot use guns at all and can only fight with a sword. As a result, he is relegated to the 35th Test Platoon, the monthly small fry platoon for poor students. One day, Oka Otori, the ultra-elite pistol master who already has her qualifications for witch hunts, joins the platoon.
This does not sound that bad, actually.
I am very worried it is going to be like Strike Witches.
Well, don't you dare.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that. I'm afraid it's going to be like Strike Witches.
God damn it.
Because it's a simple enough concept. It's like, oh, technology versus magic. I've never seen that premise anywhere in science fiction or certainly not in anime. But now we're going to make it into a show where a guy hooks up with a bunch of chicks of various questionable ages.
If they do that, okay, it will succeed if it actually has a story, not something that you just feel like the writers just threw in there so that it can mask what's actually going on. Like, what's this show called? Infinite Stratos. But Tomato, look, if it's about him and the fact that he can't use guns, why can't he use guns? If there's a good reason for that, was there something in his past that makes him not be able to use guns? What's his backstory? If he actually if there's a story about what the platoon does, if they get out of being relegated to, these people are poor students, if they actually have a story, if all the characters have a really good backstory and they go out on missions and there's a real villain and all this stuff, it will work. It won't work if they force all the girls to like him, if there's a lolly, and if it has a fake story that's just used to mask the fact that this is about this dude.
You say if.
She's on the cover, isn't she?
I think you missed the part where it's an ecchi fantasy harem.
I see the ecchi, but
because even just by looking at the preview image, I can tell it's like, all right, it's another show where Japan is fetishizing weapons in the military, but now it's also a harem.
Well, the thing about ecchi is that when I don't stray away from an anime when I see ecchi, because ecchi could just be like there's a character that might not be a major character in that show that just acts sexualized. Like she's there or he's there for the people who just want to watch somebody throw boobs in your face for like 2 to 3 minutes a scene. Whatever, I can get over that. A harem, that could just be because there's girls there with him. They don't have to go make all of them like him. If there's a power struggle for his affection, whatever, if they do that, you can still move all that shit out the way as long as there's a plausible story and the action is good.
I don't know. Someone's going to get fetishized, whether it be the girls and or the weaponry.
My money is on the girl sitting down.
Damn it, Sean. I'll keep an eye on this.
I know you will, Jahmere.
Goddamn right. I'll actually watch the first couple episodes to see if it's going where I think it's going. If it looks to be that it's going to go into the danger zone, I'm going to jump off the boat.
Danger zone.
Yeah, I'll jump off that boat.
All right. Well, speaking of jumping off boats, we have.
This doesn't have anything to do with that, Sean. You know
it.
I have missed Sean's segues so much.
Subete ga F ni Naru, the perfect insider. Oh, and it's right underneath it, yes.
Yeah, I got it. So the story of the original novel revolves around Sohei Saikawa, a member of the Saikawa Research Lab. On a vacation held for the lab, he meets Moe Nishi... Okay, Lord give me strength. Moe Nishi no Sono, the daughter of... Say that 5 times fast. My God! The daughter of his mentor, who joins the group on their vacation despite not being a part of the lab. After meeting each other, the two end up finding a corpse. The two work together to solve the mysteries of what becomes a serial murder case. All right, Sean. Well, actually, you may have a runner next to Kindaichi for mystery, because that sounds like some straight-up Goonie shit.
It sounds interesting, right?
Yeah, it does.
And the animation doesn't look half bad.
That looks like it's going to be pretty dark.
It's got some homages to Escher in there.
Yeah.
So, and it's A1 Pictures, who produced one of my favorite animes of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about.
Queen's Blade.
JoJo's.
Space Brothers.
Oh, that's right. You did have a thing for Space Brothers 2 years ago.
Well, to the date.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that one I might move up to a promising list and take something off the promising list and put it on this one.
Yeah, that's man, that really does look like it's gonna turn into one of those. All right, I'll see if they can find the person who killed this person just to see what. Oh, and then like 12 episodes later, oh my god, what's going on?
What is this?
Yeah.
All right, next we have, and this one's an easy name, Comet Lucifer.
Oh, give me something hard. The story takes... Threw that out for you, Jahmere. Glad you swung at it.
Pause.
The story takes place on the planet Gift, where precious crystals called Giftigium are buried in the earth. A young man named Sogo lives in Garden Indigo, a prosperous mining town. Sogo's hobby is to collect rare crystals. One day, he gets wrapped up in a riot caused by his classmates on Kaon. His classmates Kaon, Roman, and Otto, and he loses his way until he finds a lake deep under the ground's mining ruins. There he meets a mysterious girl with blue hair and red eyes that gaze straight ahead. The story follows the adventure of what happens after that meeting. So am I supposed to check up something first?
I mean, it's so what happens? There's a robot in the picture, so obviously
I want to think that it suggests that this is what I just read happens in the first episode, and the rest of the show is what follows. But I'm a little, I don't know.
Yeah, I have a feeling, and I feel like I've seen a show like this before. A couple of seasons ago, I forget what the name. The boy had like a medallion around his neck.
Captain Earth.
Yeah, it might have been Captain Earth. It had a very similar
I remember
story.
Spirals somewhere.
Yeah. Once again, I like it all. At the end of the day, it all boils down to the writing and the character development. Like any show could be good if it's actually has a good writing behind it.
Yeah.
But my feeling that this is probably not going to be that show, but it has the potential to be. That's why I put it in that list. So I guess Comet Lucifer isn't something that we feel might deserve to be pushed up, considering that it's so quiet right now.
It has promise. I mean, like like Sean said, they just literally told you what happens in the first episode. If it can be a good mecha show, then by all means, because you can never have enough good mech shows. Just because that anime just doesn't really try with them anymore.
And moving on, we have Itoshi no Muko.
Jahmere, with your blessing, can I read this one?
Sure.
Because this is probably one of the best descriptions on this entire preview list. So, okay. This is the copy that they chose to pitch the anime adaptation of this manga. The manga depicts the life of the pet dog Muko and his owner Komatsu, who lives in his glass-making workshop in the mountains. So what's the show about?
It's about a dog who lives
Is it about something else?
In the mountains.
It's about a zombie cyborg in search of his lost lover.
Now, is that his tongue or is that his mouth open?
Yes.
Oh,
It
wow.
can't be both.
I'm going to go with that's his tongue.
I'm guessing tongue. Yeah, he's always, with like little bristle teeth at the bottom.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man. Depending on what it is, it's a completely different show.
It's so simple and bland and strangely also completely irrelevant to what they're talking about.
For me,
Here's what the manga's about.
I feel like this show has to be funny in order to be a thing.
If nothing else, it'll be cute. I mean, it's got a corgi in it. Chicks love corgis.
You can't say.
I mean, who doesn't love corgis? Let's be real.
People with no souls.
Cats.
Hey, cats would get along with corgis since they don't chase them.
Yeah.
And they're easier to bully.
Yeah.
Easy to kick downstairs or prevent from going downstairs. I love those videos. All right, so now we go into the fun ones. And for these, after this, I think I think people can go to anime3000.com, check out the show notes for the rest of the list, because we'll be here until the break of dawn. Most cringe-inducing shows.
I got one. Yeah.
And then we can assume through this list.
I got like 10, but I'll shorten it.
All right, so the first one I have is Onsen Yosei Hokone-chan.
So, after many years of dormant rest, the hot springs fairy Hokone-chan awakens in modern-day Japan. However, while she slept, she took on the appearance of a young girl. She decides to cooperate with the locals whilst trying to regain her powers with the help of high school boy Toby. Wow.
Yeah. So, keep going.
Show of the year.
Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry.
The school sword action story revolves around magic knights, modern magic users who fight with weapons converted from their souls. Iki Kuragane goes to a school for these magic knights, but he is the failed knight, or worst one, who is failing because he has no magical skills. Regular in Magic High School. However, one day he is challenged to a duel by Stella, a foreign princess and the #1 student. In this duel, the loser must be obedient for life, and that's where it got bad.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's where it got bad. that's where it was like, okay, well, it just seems like another one of those filler anime for like the entire season. No, the loser must be obedient for all time. Okay, well.
That's what we're waiting for. It's like, Sean, this doesn't sound... And there you go. And then, of course, we have one of the characters straddling a sword, so there's that.
You know the guy's going to win that fight.
Alrighty, so we have... Oh, my goodness. Ore ga ojo-sama ga koe ni shomin sample toshite gets sarete ken.
My turn again, I guess?
Yep.
Yeah.
In a hidden school surrounded by mountains, young ladies of good families are taught everything a high-class lady needs to know. They are also completely cut off from the outside world, keeping them sheltered and innocent. However, a problem has come up recently. More and more graduates are failing to cope with the modern world after graduation. To deal with this problem, they've decided to kidnap a male commoner student
There you
and
go.
enroll him as a student. They hope that this will be a gentle way to introduce the girls to the outside world or to his dick. Kagurazuka Kimito is chosen for this dubious honor. Mostly because he seems utterly after me fucking milquetoast. He's completely uninteresting and no one gives a fuck about him. We barely saw him in the lineup. He's perfect for the job. However, the school leaders also seem to have concluded he is a homosexual with a muscle fetish. All right, this might actually get interesting again. This would be a first in a hentai or a harem show that I've seen. When Kimito hears that the alternative may be castration to protect the girl's purity, he eagerly plays along with this misconception. Now he'll just have to survive the attention of many high school class young ladies that are completely out of touch with the world.
All right, can I say something real quick?
Yeah?
Okay, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to be crucified. I saw this picture when you gave me when I saw the anime chart, and I realized that I had been reading this manga for the past 2 weeks.
Oh.
Now, wait, hold on. Now listen, the thing that you just read is the actual synopsis for the manga. However, it is not what it sounds like. He's kidnapped, brought to the school. And the principal explains to him that the girls that go there are out of touch with, like, they have tried all this stuff to teach them how to be proper young ladies, but they have no idea how the middle class live. So they literally threaten him and say, well, you know where the school is now, because apparently it's supposed to be a top secret school, and if he doesn't stay and actually help them teach the girls how the middle class live, the maid, the girl that's in the picture, tells him that she will castrate him. It's not like that's the only reason why he has to stay. And then he begins to make friends. There's nobody coming after this dude's dick, all right? Because that's what I noticed. I was like, wow, this seat looks like it's going to be a harem. It didn't really turn into a harem until like much later on.
Oh, good.
But that girl, the girl that's in the front with the orange hair, this is actually a story of how they became friends, and he is actually trying to help her adjust to life, period, because she does not know how to talk to other girls in the school. So he tells her, like, hey, this is a bento, this is what a soda machine is, this is a TV. I thought it was going to be like something stupid after a couple of chapters, but it's actually a story about their friendship.
I do kind of dig the whole Three's Company aspect of this, where I have to pretend that I'm gay or else I'm going to lose these sweet digs and my balls.
Yeah.
But it's like, otherwise, if you kind of ignore the pleasantries and the caveats to this show, it seems like another show where Homeboy's like, Dear Diary, jackpot.
No, he doesn't, like, he actively... doesn't even see like his situation as a way to get like in people's pants. He's legit trying to help the girls. The only thing that it doesn't, the fact that he's going to be castrated if he doesn't help them does not get thrown in your face. It's like brought up every once in a while when the maid comes around, like as a gag, and he will misspeak and say, like, because she relentlessly insults him because she doesn't like him as a person. So she's like, oh, what would a muscle-bound fetish freak like you know about anything? And he'll forget that he's supposed to be gay, and he'll say, who are you calling a freak? And then, like, she'll look at him and say, oh, are you not gay? And then she'll pull out a pair of scissors, and he'll be like, no, I was just joking. Like, it happens every once in a while, and it's just used as a joke. But if people actually watch this show, and they stay with it past the third episode, they'll actually see that it's a story about him actually trying to help people.
I really hope this turns into a cautionary tale for all those who are milquetoast or aspire to be milquetoast based on the anime that they've seen. I hope this sets as an example of this boy, for being that bland, is being punished with the curse of perpetual blue balls.
So I'm going to move this up to promising but probably won't watch.
Yeah.
Put Jahmere next to it.
All right.
Thanks, Jahmere.
No problem.
Jahmere.
If they follow the manga, it'll be okay. If they try and do some only in the anime type shit, it's going to go really bad.
Oh, I'm sure we can count on them for that.
And speaking of counting, we have Anitore X Rising Force.
This
is the no.
I see what you did. I see what you did.
Well, Rising Force is the company.
Rising Force is what they hope to achieve in the men's pants when they watch this show. But the anime follows 5 young women who are aiming to become idols as they do different exercise routines such as push-ups, sit-ups, dance, yoga, stretching, tai chi.
So
it's the Daily Burn, but with anime.
Yeah. And they forgot to mention they are not clothed.
Wait, are they?
Wait, hold on.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I'm about to say, well, hey, I don't see that in the description.
This is not going to be on Crunchyroll.
I think Japan is running out of sports to turn into a series. Like, what's left? Yoga.
Warm-ups.
Yeah, just stretches.
I mean, you
gotta align my chi.
They made an anime out of kickboxing called Ayane's High Kick, and then they even tried to make an anime out of competitive gaming with Arcade Gamer Fubuki, which you should do a Method to Madness on, Sean. But we'll get into that later.
Thanks for the plug.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one that we have is Komori-san.
Really, Sean? The last one? I think you're missing like 2 really bad ones.
Oh well, by all means, if there's that's the last one I have on my list. So if there's more, please.
All right, Komori-san though.
Komori-san,
yes.
Or rather, Komori-san wa Kotowara nai. 14-year-old Komori Shuri is a junior high school girl who is too nice to decline requests. Is she now? Constantly doing favors for other people has given her incredible strength. But even so, she is also an adolescent junior high school. We covered that in the first sentence, guys.
Did we forget to tell you that she's underage?
A story overflowing with the ups and downs of everyday life. So, It's about a really nice girl. People ask her to help out, and this somehow grants her Hulk-like strength.
My God.
But it's all about, a slice of life. Because like what happened when you were in junior high school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I ran errands for people because I couldn't say no all the time.
Yeah.
And now I just do it as a profession.
Like, I tried to help a buddy change a flat tire, and I couldn't, so I just lifted up the car and took him. I just ran to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure with every favor that she grants, her boobs grow a size larger.
I don't think it's one of those, Sean.
Have you seen the picture?
I don't know. I do get a sense of upgrade progress. No, those are her pecs. Remember, superhuman strength.
Good Lord.
There's a question mark and an exclamation point.
All right. And you said you had some, Jahmere?
I got 2. So it literally dragged the entire list down when I was reading it when I saw these 2. All right, so the first one, Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. All right. This beautiful girl, sexy battle action anime. You already lost all of your people with that. The beautiful girl, sexy battle action anime is set on 5 artificial islands. Okay. Momori is a mermaid transferred to one of these islands. When Momori is attacked, a newly transferred girl named Mirai saves her. The enemy doesn't stop, however, and the 2 are soon cornered. Just when they think all hope is lost, Mirai kisses Momori, and Momori turns into a sword. Mirai then wields the sword and launches a counterattack against their enemies.
Beautiful girl, sexy battle action. That sounds more like a Google search than a show description.
That sounds like a sticker that Media Blasters puts on their hentai. Beautiful girl, sexy battle action.
Words.
I don't know. I'm sold.
I hope I didn't just burn a bridge with A3K and Media Blasters. But yeah, so that's Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. Because you already know what this is. Like, it's just now that she has to kiss her to make her turn into a sword. Every single time they're going to get into a battle, they're going to have to lock lips so that she can turn into a sword, and there's going to be no story to this whatsoever. You already know there's going to be no story to this. I'm not even mad that it's like 2 girls kissing to turn into a weapon. I'm mad that it's 2 girls kissing to turn into a weapon with no story.
Yeah, it's not Utena.
Yeah, have some damn plot. Like, make it a reason. Medals. Yeah, like, and then, like, at least with Utena, every time she went to battle, you got hype because that music would play.
Then she turned into a car.
Yeah. Like, oh, really?
Yeah, the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. My girlfriend watched that movie. She said she couldn't finish it. It got too real. So
tell her, wait for it.
The second and last one I have is Diabolic Lovers More Blood. All right. This is so much trash. This is literally like anime Twilight, but because it's anime, you can't just have one lover. So it has to be like 4 guys. So Komori Yui is a positive thinking girl. Oh, I haven't seen those before. She's a positive thinking girl, Shans, who is nevertheless troubled by seeing spirits and experiencing poltergeist phenomena. In her 2nd year in high school, she transfers to a new school, a night school for entertainers and celebrities due to her father's work. So they only go to school at night. It's like being in school in Alaska. There are rumors that vampires exist among the student body, and through some complicated yet probably stupid sequence of circumstances, Yui ends up living with 6 sadistic Sakamaki vampire brothers.
Reverse harem is still harem.
But
I will judge it as such.
They're sadistic.
Oh, vampires that are sadistic?
So there's no story here. It's just let's throw a girl into a house with 6 sadists who are vampires and let them have their way with her for over 13 episodes. This will go badly. And yet, I will see it on my Facebook page from my yaoi-obsessed friends that I went to high school with, and I will have to endure.
I so want this to somehow play into that recent movie, What We Do in the Shadows.
No, God.
Have you guys heard of that one?
I almost bought it on iTunes, but then
We rented it recently. It was pretty good. It's for those who haven't heard of it. It's from the guys who made Flight of the Conchords, but they do a mockumentary or reality show where they're tracking these modern vampires who share an apartment in New Zealand. It plays out very much like you would imagine, like petty bickering, and just I want that to be in this anime.
So pretty much Spinal Tap with vampires and music.
Yep.
Precisely.
Is there music? I just assume because
No,
it's vampires.
Yeah, it's just,
okay. All right. And do any of you have any other picks for cringeworthy?
No, I don't think so. Everything that we've talked about is pretty much cringeworthy. I was about to go in on Didi Hokote no Ken, but its reputation precedes it. So
Hold on. I am enthralled by the copy describing Yuri Yuri Sanhai. Check this out, guys. Here's what the show's about. It's the 3rd season of Yuri Yuri. Can you believe that shit? I thought it was going to zig, but it zagged. I can do a double take.
Didn't you do
I'm hooked.
Did you do a thing about Yuri Yuri a long time ago?
Nah, I do not recognize this at all.
I watched the first episode when it first came out because I thought it would be awesome. No, I'm kidding. Because I think I just finished watching K-On! Like the first couple of episodes of K-On! And I said, hey, this looks like K-On! And it's almost going to be as bad as it, and it was worse.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it was about something else that I saw. They're making another series out of the Scarlet Ammo, and I thought it was going to be a continuation of the last season of the Scarlet Ammo, which actually, if you guys go to anime3000.com/2guysnmypodcast and listen to that podcast from 2 years ago, that series made us crack up so hard with how it ended. I thought they were going to do a continuation, but it looks like they're doing a spin-off, and I don't know why.
Well, I think we've done enough on this season. What we've kind of come to a conclusion is that there's probably 3 solid shows, and the rest are kind of iffy. So overall, I feel like this is probably a weak season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think One Punch Man is the JoJo of this season.
I got your water.
It'll be enough to carry the rest.
Yeah, definitely. That's all you need to watch, and then catch up on some of the older stuff. Maybe watch Death Parade if you haven't watched it already.
Owari no Seraph's getting a 2nd season. I heard that did really good for its first time. So the manga's not bad. So
there's a lot of sequels on this, which you can check out on our website at anime3000.com. A lot of shows that are coming back.
Fafner's coming back.
Garo has a new.
If y'all ain't seen Garo, y'all need to check that out. That theme song will make you so hyped.
And World Trigger, if you're a fan of that, they have a new original story that's going to be coming out. Haikyuu! That's the 2nd season. So
Fafner's coming back, man. Fafner. Last time I saw Fafner it was a preview on a Geneon Tenjo Tenge disc. Like, they're coming back with another season. I'm like, yo, somebody somewhere is keeping Fafner on life support. You ain't gonna forget about Fafner. They gonna bring it back once every couple of years.
And that K show has a new thing, K Return of the Kings. Have any of you ever seen that series?
K was really popular with the female crowd.
So.
Like, really popular.
Well, I guess it was popular enough to get a sequel, so there you go.
Yeah.
So definitely check out the link. It's going to be in the show notes, and we are going to keep this show going with some of your picks for what's really good. And Sean Ryan, what is your pick for what's really good?
Oh, I really had to think about this because I've been managed to watch some shows recently, but what I'm really digging into right now is a little comic called Empowered. The 9th volume just dropped this past week, and I am already balls deep into it. It is so good. I don't know if y'all have heard of Empowered. It's done by a dude named Adam Warren who's been around the scene for about 20 years. He's American, but he's also known for doing a really good anime and manga style in his work. Best known for doing the Dirty Pair adaptations over here. Did a bunch of other things. He did like a really good Bubblegum Crisis comic series over here that even got God blessed by the creator when they put it to trade paperback. But for the past few years, he's been working on another series, Empowered, that's sort of a superhero satire, but also it has its own story, and it's just really rich and really good. And it's really going to appeal to you if you are a fan of obscure pop culture and also a fan of the English language, because he has a very creative use of English and how he puts together dialogue and also speech patterns for characters to really get a full dimension of each character and what they are. But the new one just dropped, Volume 9, but they've got the other one still in print, and I think they have some of the collections. They just came out with a collection of the one-shots that they've done, and the one-shots is really what got me hooked into it. I figured, I don't want to throw a lot of money into a single volume. I'll just get this single issue and see if it sticks to me. And it has ever since.
Okay.
Do you feel empowered?
I feel quite empowered.
And where can people get Empowered?
Just about any comic bookstore, Amazon. Just look for Empowered Comic, and you're done.
Who's the
Easy to
publisher
find.
for that?
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
It would be Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. So it's got to be really easy to find.
Okay. And what about you, Jahmere?
So this is a pick of like what's good that I've been reading / watching, right? During when I get bored and I like try and find manga to read, I'll just select a bunch of stuff, favorite it, and like check out a couple chapters from each thing. And if it sticks with me, I tend to read it. That's how I got. That's how I ran through Parasite. That's how I ran through Parasite. So during that time, I stumbled upon this other manga called Cage of Eden, which is literally just now making its appearance. Like I walked into a Barnes & Noble and I saw it, and I almost dropped $8 on the volume 1 right then and there because the manga was so good. Cage of Eden is a story about a young man named Akira, and he goes on this field trip with his class. They go to Guam. I guess that's something that Japanese high school students usually do. And they, on their way back from Guam, their plane, something happens to it, and they crash land on this island. And half the population of his class is wiped out. Pilot dies, some of the teachers die, and the remaining students that climb out of the plane think, okay, the plane crashed on some sort of island off the coast of Japan, whatever. Somebody obviously saw the plane go down, we'll get rescued, it's all good. A couple of days pass, and they realize that, okay, nobody's coming to help us, nobody saw the plane go down, so they start wandering around the island, and they find that the island is infested with extinct dinosaurs.
Oh, awesome!
Literally, creatures, not even dinosaurs, creatures that have been extinct. I'm talking saber-toothed tigers, whatever the old ancestor to the crocodile is, the dodo bird, basically all animals on that island that could kill a human being with no effort at all.
It sounds like if you saw the first episode of Lost and the show actually went in the direction that it sounded like it was going to go, it would be this.
I remember reading the chapters like, okay, let's see what's going to happen to these kids, because they're all in like middle school. They're not even high school kids. They're like 14, 15 years old, and they're on this island. And they have two teachers that are trying to guide them and help them survive, because that's what the whole thing is. They have to survive on the island because they don't know where they are. Their cell phones don't work. They don't have a communication. They have no map. And one of his classmates dies because they get attacked by a saber-toothed tiger because he gets attracted to the fire that they set on the beach for warmth. So he just raids the camp and kills one of the students. And now everybody's freaking out. And Akira has to guide his classmates through this island so that they can survive and try to get off. But while they're on the island, the kicker is that they soon discover that, one, they may not be alone on the island, human-wise, and two, there's a bunch of stuff on the island that seems that it's been man-made. So it starts to become, well, did we crash land here on accident? Or was this a setup so that somebody somewhere could, like, test us or something? Because that's what it soon turns into.
This still sounds like the Lost that I always wanted.
All the while surviving and trying to dodge and stay alive from these animals who were genetically engineered, literally, way back when, if humans had been around when they were, to kill you.
So when does somebody get killed with a conch shell, and when do they meet the Dharma Initiative?
I see what you did there. No, the worst. I mean, there's saber-tooth tigers, dodo birds, crocodiles. They have giant flying birds, are like the ancestor of the condor, which apparently way back when were like super huge and ate actual animals while they were still alive. So they have to come up with different ways to survive all this, all the while, like, they got some Lord of the Flies thing going on because, you know, as it pertains to 14 and 15 years old, not everybody likes each other.
The hell you say? That does sound pretty rad, though.
And people soon become crazy, and yeah.
Is there an anime? Is there an anime to that?
No, actually.
That sounds like something that needs an anime.
The Cage of Eden is the bit. Like, I ran through that series in maybe 2 weeks. It's long. It's got 183 chapters, and the ending is so satisfying.
What happens in the end? I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's actually satisfying. It's not a cliffhanger. They end it, and it's like, oh, that was excellent.
So you said Cage, C-A-G-E?
Cage of Eden.
Oh, okay, cool. And
if I may, really quick, I have a quick addendum to my recommendation. I've just remembered this. If anyone listening has that new Anime Go Blu-ray set for Bubblegum Crisis, I believe one of the digital bonuses on one of the discs is high-resolution PDFs of Adam Warren's Grand Mal graphic novel. So some of you already have some of his work.
Anime Go still around?
What's that?
Anime Go is still around?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, there's small scale, but they're still doing stuff.
I was about to say, I remember that from You're Under Arrest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe is it Anime Go or US Manga Core?
No, it's Anime Go.
Anime Go. Okay, yeah.
They're still alive.
They're still kicking. They're from around here, really.
Yeah.
And then mine is something that we mentioned. Actually, when we had Cashmere Anime Boy, he mentioned the mobile app, Anime Amino.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually checked it out, created an account. So if you pick up the app and you search Anime 3000, you'll see our account, and it's actually pretty good. Think of Twitter if Twitter was only for anime. The community is pretty active. For you creators out there, you can post your stuff on there, and I actually get more engagement on this app than I do Twitter. And it's actually pretty fun. A lot of conversations, cool articles, a great community, a lot of people welcoming you as you sign up a new account. So it's kind of what I wished was around back when I first got into anime. So definitely check it out. The app is Anime Amino, and it's available both for the Android and the iPhone, the iOS. So it's worth the signing up for an account and playing around with it for a while and seeing how you like it.
I was going to say, is it free or pay?
It's 100% free. There's so far, and there's no ads too. Like,
that makes it easy.
It's a really great experience for the user, and they also have other aminos. They have it broken down for cosplay, for comics. There's like a lot of different apps available based on your interests. So even if you don't like anime, there's something for you. So check that out. And they did not pay for that ad.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure. It was actually, I felt like I should give them a quick shout out. And speaking of shout outs, we're at our final part of the show where everybody gets to plug what they have going on. So guess first, Sean Ryan.
You can find all of my stuff at alphacounter.com. We're still doing the Alpha Counter podcast every single week. For our anime podcast, Method to Madness, we're doing it kind of as much as we can. Currently, we're going through our rewards from our recent Indiegogo campaign to renew our hosting. So we're going through shows that have been requested by a lot of our listeners. And the show that we have coming up that I'm currently burning through is Gunsword. And that as soon as I get through, we're going to sit down and record a podcast on. I've done some other recent guest stuff. I was on the Anime of Yesteryear podcast where I talked with host Dustin about The Legend of Black Heaven, one of my all-time favorite shows.
I got the box set for that at home.
Oh, God bless you. Everyone should get exposed to this. And then, of course, I'm also working with Mating Habits of the Modern Geek, which is a geek dating podcast, which is a lot of fun. But, yeah, alphacounter.com, you can find pretty much everything there.
Gunsword be like, hey, you want some steak? Yeah. You want some hot sauce? Nah, I want all the condiments.
Kevin and I are so far in unison, and our reaction was, hey, look, you got your big O stuck in my Trigun.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Wow.
All right. And what about you, Jahmere? What do you have going on?
So, as previously stated in my last venture in this podcast, Mike's company has hired the people needed so that we can continue to podcast. However, we will now be a bi-weekly podcast. We will not be podcasting every week anymore because he still has to work his 7 days, and I'm not going to put him through that or complicate our schedule. So you can catch us September 16th. We will be back then, and then every week thereafter. Also, one quick thing. If you have not had a chance to pick up Metal Gear Solid, The Phantom Pain, by all means, please buy this game. It is amazing. I had to make myself not play today because I've been playing it for 3 days straight because I have no life. But yes, that's what I've been doing, and that's my takeaway. Also, please continue to listen to the A3K radio station. You can find it at anime3000.com. We have a widget for the radio station on the homepage, or you can find it at anime3000.com/play-the-radio. You will be taken to our 24/7 live, not live, good lord, I almost said live, 24/7 anime and video game streaming music station for free. You can also find it on TuneIn radio app and Streama. Yes, Streama. Our friends at Streama.
Technically, it is live because the music is being played, but everyone can hear the same thing at the same time.
I mean, yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's live.
It's live, ladies and gentlemen. 24/7 live streaming music for your listening ears.
Yeah, it never goes off.
Mixmaster General Jahmere Durham on the ones and twos.
Yep.
As far,
I'm sorry. One more thing. I will continue to update the. I do maintenance on it once a week where I take off songs and I add new songs. So I'll be sure to put those on the Facebook page when I do that. I haven't been doing it lately because nobody really seems to look at it, but I know people look at it, so even if they don't click on it. So I'll just continue to put those up.
All right. And if you are listening to this and you want to catch the live video show, but you don't follow Twitter or you don't know where to find the link, I'm going to start putting the embed of the show on anime3000.com on the main page with a link to the YouTube, so you can check it out there and then join the live chat with us. And as far as everything else, if you're just listening to us through iTunes, make sure you check out the website anime3000.com. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be making some tweaks here and there, and you'll get to see some really cool things. So I want to thank Sean Ryan for joining us on this episode of the A3K podcast, as well as Jahmere Durham. And for all of you listening, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, on anime3000.com. See you guys later.
Yeah.
And his name is John Cena.
John Cena!